Hello YouTubers! When considering home improvements, DIY or do-it-yourself is a great way to save money and increase the value of your home. However, you do need to do these improvements wisely, or you may end up spending money and time on projects that give poor returns for the money spent. Today I'll look at 5 projects that can be done fairly easily and make your home sell more quickly and possibly for more money. Hi, this is Bruce Boyes from Homes and Life, here to provide you with more valuable information about your home and some thoughts on life. But first, thanks again to those who have subscribed to this channel, and welcome to you new subscribers. Feel free to comment in the section below, as I'm always interested in other people's thoughts as well. These projects are not in order of what needs to be done, as everyone has different priorities. Costs will vary as well, depending on your degree of thriftiness. Some items need to be good quality, and others don't matter as much. Number 1, paint. When someone walks into your house, you only get one chance, just one chance to make a first impression. And one of the first things that's noticeable is the paint. Is your paint chipped and damaged? Is it worn? Is there some peeling wallpaper? Do the colors make your home look old and dated? Paint is an area that can make a huge difference on the appearance of your home and can be upgraded at a fairly reasonable price. It's also an area that has high returns for the dollars spent. Depending on who you talk to, you may see an increase in value of 2 to 3 times what you have spent, possibly more if you do the work yourself. There are some cautions though. Colors used should be calm, neutral colors that won't cause reactions one way or another from people coming into the house. A paint store can help you with these selections. As well, if doing the work yourself, the finished job should look like a professional job. There are lots of videos on YouTube on how to do a good job of painting. You'll also find that this is an area where you should use good quality paint. And you'll find that when painting the walls, it's also a good time to freshen up the trim with new paint. Please, and I'll stress please, use a different color than what's on the walls for the trim. Occasionally we walk into a property and we see the trim painted the same color as the walls. Everything's all the same, and it gives an institutional look to the room. Number 2, the kitchen. It's a well-known fact that the kitchen is a good place to spend money for maximum returns. At this point, however, we are looking at keeping the expenses down a bit. So take an objective look at your kitchen and notice the things that stand out as needing attention. Usually your attention gets drawn to the cupboards. How can they be updated? Well, the first reaction is to paint them, and this is okay. But before you do, look a little bit closer. Are the doors and drawers all straight and level? A crooked door or drawer draws the eyes to it. So look at how to adjust them. The newer cabinets have hidden hinges that are adjustable, but older hinges may require a bit of ingenuity for adjustment. Next, what about the color? The trend right now is to go very light or white colors on the cabinets, but remember that this is a trend and trends change. And if the exposed wood is in good shape, you may want to consider staining it with either a light colored stain or a very dark stain. Both ways will still show the grain of the wood to a certain extent. But if you are painting the doors and drawers, whenever possible, they should be sprayed as opposed to being brushed, and that gives them a smoother finish. Okay, the doors and drawers have been livened up, but another area that catches the eye is the hardware or the handles and hinges on the doors and drawers. Change these and put on ones that catch the eye. You can spend a lot of money on fancy new ones, or you can still get some pretty attractive new ones for a reasonable price by shopping around. Possibly you can find some used hardware that could be cleaned up and repurposed. So now the cupboards and drawers look great, but what about that grungy old sink? Well, try checking out classified ads, Craigslist, or Facebook Marketplace, and I'm fairly sure that you can find a nearly new sink that will fit where your old one is now and for a reasonable price. When the sink is out, look at the countertops. Are they old and all beat up? Could they also stand to be improved? Cabinet shops will usually be willing to come and give you a quote on replacing all of your countertops with brand new ones. But there are some refinishing options available, one of which is a peel and stick film. I'm holding judgment on this one still because I'm not sure how it's going to last long term. There's also roll-on coatings, and there's a complete epoxy-based refinish. Of these three options, I would probably lean towards the epoxy coating because it's very durable and it looks very sharp, but it is a little more labor intensive to apply. But if your countertops look passable the way they are, then I would suggest installing the new to you sink, but with a new faucet assembly that complements your cabinet hardware. I'm sure by now that you can see that kitchens are an area where you need to be conscious of expenses, as costs can quite easily get out of control on you, creating an expense that you may not be able to recoup when selling the house. Number 3, look up. Lights are an area that date a home quite easily. Different light styles come and go quite frequently. You can update the lights and save some money at the same time. Years ago, the old lights used to use incandescent bulbs, which were not the best. They used significantly more electricity and they did create a fair bit of heat. And then the trend moved on towards fluorescent bulbs, which were definitely more energy efficient and generated much less heat. But the chemicals inside the fluorescent bulbs were harmful if the bulb was broken. Move forward a little bit more. These days we have LED lights, which are very energy efficient, saving you money on your electricity bill, and yet giving lots of light. They do claim to last for a long time as well, although they haven't been around as long as their life claims. Changing these fixtures will give the home a much more up-to-date look. They're fairly easy to install, but if this is not one of your abilities, have an electrician change them. They only take a few minutes each. Number 4, look down. Flooring is also something that people notice right away. Is your flooring looking worn? And what options do you have short of replacing the flooring at a large expense? If you have carpet that is in decent condition, consider brightening it up by having it professionally cleaned. And I'll stress professionally because it tends to do a better job. If your flooring is beyond repair, consider tearing it out. There are some very attractive vinyl floor options that are available that are great for do-it-yourselfers to install. Again, do your research to find out how to install them correctly, and when finished, you'll have a floor that can be enjoyed for years to come. If you're considering laminate flooring, purchase a decent quality laminate, not just the cheapest that you can find. You will be glad of it later. Number 5, vent covers. At the same time that you're cleaning or replacing your flooring, update the furnace vent covers if you have any. Newer decorative vent covers are eye-catching and they look sharp. Here's an example. Which looks better? This older vent covering or the newer vent covering? In some cases, even a fresh coat of paint on the older vent covers could be an improvement. Well, these 5 relatively inexpensive upgrades are good do-it-yourselfer projects that can have decent returns for your time and money invested. But again, the finished product needs to look close to a professional job. We found that if a potential buyer sees an area that obviously requires work, they will usually want a reduction in the price. So, watch lots of YouTube videos on how to do the jobs and then enjoy the products. I do hope this video has been helpful to you, and if so, click the like and subscribe buttons down below. I have more tips and videos to come. Also, feel free to comment on these thoughts. And remember, life is an adventure. I'll talk to you again soon.